This is the Transparency Podcast Show.
So it's not as shown as TV or like Judge Judy, as it shows authority. So when you, after you transition, when you start going to the courtroom, do you feel that authority is demolished from anyone in the courtroom?
No,
Do you feel anything?
I've had great interactions with judges, opposing counsel. I don't try cases. I haven't tried a case in over 20 years.
Okay.
Because of the type of work that I was doing. I did a lot of civil work, suing corporations and businesses, and so it was. Everybody was really pretty good about stuff, actually, a couple of times I had like camera crew go into the court with me because they were doing some stuff on things, and but I think I feel more empowered now being myself than I ever did previously.
Yes, I can feel you on this as well, because I was a shy guy before. I was a shy person, and now I'm just feel like it's a blooming, like aligned to what I feel inside, and I can do better somehow.
For me, it's been an incredible change. I think I had 213 friends on Facebook, on my old one, and I think I have, between friends and followers, like 6,000 people on Facebook now. So and I interact so much more with people. Your
online preference is very creative, I notice, because I seen you in the kitchen cooking, showing a cooking show, and then you also play guitar, right?
Yeah.
And then the clock walk.
That's the clock walk,
that's your famous one.
Oh, that was always fun, because there was nothing funner than having like 15 drunk hot gals in lingerie stuff walking down a couple blocks on Hollywood Boulevard. it was such an amazing time and experience. I absolutely loved that. But yeah, I sometimes do cooking with Jessie on my Facebook Live. And we had the Slayevich sisters, which was a Russian group of Russian spies comedy group that I did with my roommates. And so I try to be a little bit creative. And I have kind of two personas. Like on Instagram, I have two Instagrams. I have one that's my work Instagram that is like mostly for professionally related things. I try not to get too, and then I have my Cloak Walk Jessie one. So, and that's got a lot more followers.
So I see you bring your creativity onto your body, your tattoo, your ink. Do you design all of those tattoos on yourself?
I have a very, very amazing tattoo artist who's over on York Boulevard in Highland Park. He's been doing it for like 30 years, and he's tattooed half the porn stars, half the rock stars in LA. So he's one of the Inked magazine icons. And so he and I work together on a lot of stuff. And I tell him what I want, and he kind of comes up with an idea. Like my favorite one is it's kind of the Gothic Blind Justice.
I don't know. Or we can insert a photo or something.
Can that be seen? Oh.
Yeah.
So that is my favorite one right there.
Wow.
And I got a couple of different pictures online, and kind of told him the idea that I wanted, and then he drew that on my body.
Okay. And this is all collection throughout many years, right? Including your old self.
Probably only most of these are 5 years or less.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't have any tattoo prior to transition? Yeah. So that's what I asked, because I want to ask.
I had one.
I want to ask one very interesting question, because I remember some people that they have a tattoo prior their life, and now they transition. They want to get rid of the one that's prior. So you say you have one. Is it still there, or you you got rid of it too after
It got changed. My tattoo artist came up with this great concept. So when I first saw him,
what did you have before? I'm curious.
it was a very small tribal sun right in my stomach area.
Okay. And then now he changed.
And so when I went and saw him, I told him I wanted 5 roses on my side, and it ends up going from like my hip all the way up to my back, and so there's the 5 roses, but it's like a really giant side piece, and it took, I think, 3 settings to get everything
then go
done.
All the way to the front, covered as sun.
No, so I told him I wanted 5, and then I said I wanted a colored rose to signify my transition. Yeah. And so he said, "Yeah, I can do that." He goes, "But we've spent a lot of time together. I kind of know who you are. I kind of understand some stuff." So what I was thinking of is we cover up that one that you have here, and put a lotus blossom, because it grows out of something chaotic and muddy and becomes something beautiful, and that transitions over into a colorful, amazing flower that's not like a regular flower. It's a special design type flower, and then it's unique and unusual, and then we incorporate the serpent and original sin and the apple, and so I ended up with this huge other piece that covers from my hip all the way up. And so it's to signify my transition. So all of my tattoos on my right side are black ink. And all of the tattoos on my left side are colored ink.
I just noticed that. How about the one in the middle of your chest?
Well, the one I have in the center here is black ink, and the one I have in the center on my back is colored ink.
Wow. So interesting.
So
yeah. So is it hard? Meaning, like, do you do long sections?
I generally will do 2-hour, 3-hour sessions with him.
Yeah.
And some of this one was like 5 sessions to fully get through on the side there. Some of them are an hour. So it just depends on what the complexity is. But almost all of them tell a different story. So like on my back shoulder here, I have a unicorn. But it's not just any unicorn. It's the unicorn that my mom and my aunt used for their stores, the Unicorn Boutique. And it has my aunt's ashes in it.
Okay. Wow.
So
that's sweet. So now we're gonna talk, since we're talking about your body. So we're gonna go to your gender affirmation surgery.
I like to call it my genital correction surgery because they needed to be corrected, and now everything is just hunky dory.
Yeah. So you say you transition about your short time, right? And you move on and do the surgery.
I did the express transition because I realized I was old. I was 53 when I came to my understanding. And so I knew I was a late in life transitioner. I knew I didn't, I knew I was going to do it because, as my therapist says, yes, it gets stronger as you get older and it never goes away. And I'm like, so this shit's not going away ever? Yeah, okay. Well, then what do I do?
So if you don't mind, because we have Dr. Sinclair on the show before, and he's more focused on the,
the colonic.
Colonic. Did you do that kind?
No. I did the penile inversion. And I did that. It was 18 months into my transition. And that's because the first 6 months I was like, oh, I'm not going to do anything like that. No, I'm not going to. I like that. I'm not going to. And then it was like, I think it was, shortly after I had my FFS and breast augmentation at 6 months. And then I started looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, that's not what I want to see. And so that started my 1 year of having to get electrolysis and other stuff for the surgery and stuff. And it was then that it was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea.
So after you did did the surgery, did that change your relationship, lifestyle? Or people who you date change gender-wise, sexually?
Well, that kind of changed right before the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I had been going out with a woman for about 6 years, right before my surgery. And
as Jessie, right? As your old self, or as
I started dating her as my old self.
Okay.
And then I became Jessie. And so she stayed with me for about that 18 months after till right after the surgery, when I ended up kind of breaking up with her, because when I started out, she was pretty supportive for the most part. I mean, she did tell me that I would make an ugly woman, and I was like, okay, but at least I'll be a woman. Okay, that's the key focus on this. Is
right.
I don't care. I'm going to be what I'm going to be. I just get to be me. And then she wanted to make me promise that I would not be attracted to men. And I was fairly well versed at this point in statistics and other things in dealing with what trans people go through. And I knew that there was a fairly good percentage of trans women who, in going through their transition, change who they're attracted to sexually.
Yes.
And they become attracted to men. Yeah. Or if they were attracted to men previously, they become attracted to women.
Both.
It goes all different ways. And so when she asked me that, I was like, look, I'm trying to be as honest with you as I can in this whole process. And I said, I can't tell you that I won't do that, because I don't know. I don't know if I am in one of the percentage that does that. And so
I'm the same way, because before transitioning, I never thought about I will like men. And after transition, I only date men, which I stopped attracted to women in that way, romantic way. So what happened after you broke up with her? Did you find somebody?
And part of the reason, I mean, I don't think she really liked women all that much. So as I became more and more feminine, I mean, she wouldn't touch my breasts, which, look, I'm a woman. You're my sex partner. You're supposed to touch them, okay? And it's like, so she was not into. Oh, I have no doubt she loved me, but I don't think she was attracted to me at that point. And then
not sexually attracted to a woman.
And she had always said that the one hard line in the sand was that she didn't want me to be attracted to men. And so when I started becoming attracted to guys, and I couldn't do that. I could not say I'm not.
Right.
So that's why I ended up breaking up with her. And that was 4 weeks after my surgery. And then I lost my virginity 2 weeks after that.
Wow. That fast? I thought you have to wait until 6 months or something. That's what I heard.
the doctor said 8 weeks, but
8 weeks. Oh, so why am I getting that 6 months from maybe?
I was.
I think I have to be a lady monk for 6 months.
I was putting dilators in there, and I thought, well, what's the difference?
Exactly. So now you made a good point.
And so I ended up losing it to another trans woman who I dated for about 4 months, 5 months.
Okay. But she's doesn't have the bottom surgery yet?
She had not had bottom surgery.
Got it.
She never will, because she passed away a couple of years ago, unfortunately.
So many people pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what some of my tattoos are, memorials to my friends who've passed.
That's gonna grow. We're gonna have more. I'm sure, right? More ink.
Well, I'm because I lose too many friends. It's something that's not good in the community. And, either through the violence that were killed, or
hate crime,
the self-violence, and the suicide. It's truly heartbreaking.
Alcohol abuse, drug abuse. Those are also a larger number of the lost friends.
And then I think there's also a lot of medical problems because a lot of trans people tend to avoid going to the doctor
in a legit ways, right? They self-medicate,
and they don't want to see a medical doctor for things because they're afraid of whatever. And now there's some states that are trying to make it even illegal to get medical treatment for being trans, and that is it's gone suddenly from not letting wanting trans people to use the bathroom to not wanting trans people to live, and take away our medical care. And that's truly a frightening thing that's going on right now.
Yeah.